Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off, it's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from Peyton. It's just gonna solidify everything for Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
SKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Ambler immediately goes back, like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, still back and forth.
Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new day of CGL regular season. We are here week 2, the EU GM tier. I am Mega Ninja 44, your entertainment caster and host today. I hope everybody's having a good day so far. I hope everybody is well rested after last night if they managed to catch the OWCS preseason show match that started up. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about today's game, CGL Week 2, as I said, between GM TPO, tank players only, and Shenzhen Strikers. I hope I pronounced that right. Apologies if I didn't. I'm excited for this one. I don't have any casters with me, as you can see. It's just me solo hosting this by myself. But, you know, that just means that nobody's able to take the spotlight away from me. I'm really excited to watch this one, and you know, obviously there are other games today. We can talk about this one all we want, but there is also another game tonight between Cosmic Eclipse and Strike Academy, so you don't want to miss that whatsoever. That NA match should be an absolute gigabanger. I am excited to be casting this one though, as we do know exactly where we are going to be starting. I do believe that this is week 2, so we are going to be starting on to, I think the option is on to Nepal. Yeah, okay, there we go. Nepal is going to be our first option here. A set in stone map pick, and I mean, there's a lot of comps that we can run with Nepal. You know, as somebody who is a color caster, I can talk about all the comps that can be run on Nepal. You can run that dive. You can run that Zarya, that Vendetta. That's definitely right. I do want to say that real quickly that the 5 new heroes are currently banned from the tournament. They will be available, I believe it's next week. So that means we're not going to see any Onron, no Emre. None of those new characters are going to be coming out, unfortunately. No 1v1s to decide that first map. And I mean, listen, we can get into the bans from these teams really quickly. You know, I don't know a lot about these two teams. This is my first time casting these two teams. But tank players, if I were to look at their roster, they are, of course, a bunch of tank players. If I had to take a ban, like shot in the dark, I would say maybe you ban out that Zarya. You could ban out the Vendetta. Definitely the more common options that are available to us, as we see in previous matches. But again, these teams have their own preferences. They have their own strategies cooking up in the back pocket. But we can definitely find out what is going to be the first ban here in a moment. Maybe you can ban out something like the Lucio. Okay, but we're going to get a Doomfist ban right out of the gate here. Very interesting one. Must be a niche pick of Shenzhen Strikers. Perhaps they have a Doomfist one trick on the roster by chance. We'll have to find out once we get into it. But getting that ban out early is really good if they do have a Doomfist one trick, because that does allow them to play it in the future maps, as it's no longer going to be an option to be banned out. But now it's going to be the Shenzhen Strikers' chance to ban out a character. Wow, that icon is okay. We do have a couple of options available now. Tank can no longer be banned out. So that is going to be a DPS or a support. You could ban out any of the supports, any of the damage. You could ban out maybe the Vendetta here. You could ban out I know Cass is being played, Soj is being played right now. Kiri Lucio, maybe a BAP ban. It's going to be the Cass. It's going to be the Cass pick, which is definitely one of our lesser choices in terms of preference and what teams normally run. But those are going to be the bans for the day. No Doomfist, no Cass on this first map. We can take a look at the lineup here for GM TPO tank players only. We have Smixen, Alpin. Oh, I don't even know how to pronounce that tank's name. I think it's Olnor. Olnor sounds, I'm going to say that's correct. Ananas, like bananas, but not. And then Lingensilt. So this is going to be a very fun game to be casting for, because I can definitely pronounce all of their names at a very easy whim. But we can look at the second lineup. We can look at Shenzhen Strikers up next. We do have these 5 beautiful players: JT4, Tachyon, Yo-Yo Cheerio, I want to say, and Fijagon and Lucio's, which... Fijagon is definitely a callback if anybody is familiar with Lee Jae-gon back in the Overwatch League days, and also the start of OWCS, back when he still was feeding in his old age. But here's the reincarnation themselves. Fijagon going to be on the Shenzhen Strikers, and this matchup should be interesting. This matchup should be interesting for sure. I don't really know what these teams are going to be running in terms of compositions, because the Doomfist and Cass are banned. Maybe we do see something like that Soj come through. But I'm not entirely sure off the back of those bans. Doomfist Cass going to be out. We're going straight into Nepal here. As these teams are getting ready, we're getting all the readies in from everybody in the lobby here. I'm excited to watch this. What do you think about this, other caster? I say while I take a sip of my water. No, I'm just kidding. It's just me. But no, I'm definitely interested to see what the move is. Okay, I mean, Nepal allows a lot of options. Nepal allows a very large amount of options. You can run a brawl composition with the Zarya, with the Vendetta. You can run a dive comp with the Diva. You can run... It's definitely some things in the lineup here, as we can finally get into the map Nepal. We're going to start on this inside area here. As I actually love the design of this inner area. I think it's a very beautiful inner side, and inner side is not a thing. Inner side is not a thing. But this point is going to be unlocked. We do have interesting comps from both sides here. Mauga Vendetta Symmetra with a Juno Lucio, but I bet that Juno is going to swap to Kiriko off of the Juno Speedring. Shenzhen Striker is going to be running that Lucio Kiri backline that we're so well informed about, with a Winston, a Soj, and a Symmetra of their own. So both of these teams probably going to be TPing out of spawn and then swapping up to different flex DPS. We'll have to see, of course. It's interesting that the Vendetta is not on the Symmetra for the side of tank players only. It's definitely a more interesting choice here, unless they're going to be actually running the Symmetra. Yeah, it looks like that Symmetra is actually going to be ran here by tank players only, but we do see Tachyon swap over to that Tracer here, as this Winston does take this longer sight line, while the rest of the tank players only decide to take these inside angle, which is going to allow them to close the gap a little bit. As this Vendetta is trying to get some overhead value, they are going to drop underneath and look at this Winston Tachyon trying to get something done in that back line, but nothing's done so far, as the rest of tank players only are going to come out of that small room, but JT4 going to be the first to fall there. The Winston takes a lot of poke damage and is going to be forced out. Lingen is going to be taken down. Smixon is going to be able to find that kill onto the Lucio, however, so it looks like it's going to be the side of tank players only winning out the engagement as long as they can get rid of this Lucio, the Winston and the Tracer. The Winston's going to be able to fall down, and the Tracer is going to be probably next up. There it is. Alpin is going to get that final blow, and the first cap goes to tank players only. Beautiful start from them. I really enjoyed that engagement from them. I think that Alpin was able to get a lot of value on that Vendetta. 60% and counting in terms of ult charge. That's going to be the closest ult that is on the table, as Shenzhen Strikers is going to swap off of that Tracer, go to the Genji. Very interesting swap, more of a niche swap. I think Tracer's in a really strong spot right now, but we'll have to see what the move is. The Malga swap also from Shenzhen Strikers, as he is going to run onto that left side walkway and try to shoot into them. A beautiful job from tank players only, as they're going to kite on inside of the room next to the point, while Yo-Yo Cheerio going to just kind of sit on the objective to kind of force out any players from tank players only. But they are going to take a TP to the other side now. They're going to give up the flip, and they're going to re-engage onto somebody. And look, oh my god, Lucio's got actually obliterated by that stomp. But now this other Malga is here shooting his gun, but he gets booped off the map by Lingens. Oh, it's such a bad pick here, and it looks like despite the map flip going the way of Shenzhen Strikers, that tank players only are going to be completely okay with it as long as they get that retake. Now it's 37% and counting, and a lot of ults coming online for tank players only. They have pretty much everything besides that wall built up, as Shenzhen Strikers only really have the, what do they have? They have the overclock, which is definitely an interesting one that can provide a lot of value as long as it gets the job done. But Lingen took a lot of damage there, but he is able to keep alive. And Smixon actually built up their ult the fastest. That is not what I expected. Oh, a big stomp, and forces out Suzu on the side of Shenzhen Strikers. The wall is going to be forced immediately with the Ray. Alpin taken out first, however, in this engagement. Lingen is taking so much damage, and JT4 just finds him, and Yo-Yo Cheerio gonna be taken down, and that rush has been popped from Shenzhen Strikers. But this is actually looking like a fight win here. As long as they're able to kill that Malga. The Malga's taking so much damage here. Gonna be taken down from the Genji. Smixon next to fall, and it looks like a flip here from Shenzhen Strikers. Beautiful ult usage there. They only pop the rush, while trained players pop 2 of their own ults. But I mean, now this re-engagement is going to be a little difficult for tank players only, as they are down 2 ults to 4. But we do know that, okay, there's the cage going to be coming through right onto both sides. Beat is available from both teams. It looks like Lingen's going to pop theirs first, as Anana's going to be taken down after FJ Gone pops their own. A little bit late on that beat there was Lingen, and it looks like that's going to punch them a little bit, as the rest of tank players only are going to be taken off of the board. Anana's going to be respawning just to see their team get slaughtered in front of them. And now it is 56%, but only ults available are the Vendetta ult and the Soj ult. I don't know what's going to be happening from the side of tank players only. It looks like Lingen's going to be taken down first in this engagement. That is so difficult to see, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem here, as the rest of tank players only are going to have to wrap around this inside area. However, this tank is taking so much damage. Cheerio is going to have to back up to save his life. A nice overhead onto that Genji forces them back a little bit, as they're going to drop inside, try to take an inside angle here and try to force point. 85% and counting, and look at how much damage Cheerio is taking. He's incredibly low on health. He's trying his best. The overclock gets popped from JT4. Not able to find any picks just yet, but he's looking for something. He's going to be spamming into the small room. So much damage gets popped out. But, oh, that's not good. Cheerio and Lucio's are able to find one. Tachyon finds another. Alpin, so incredible, finds a pick onto FJ Gone, but it doesn't really matter as long as they finish off Alpin. It doesn't matter in the slightest. The Suzu, wait a minute, Alpin finds 3 kills, but JT4 shuts it down before a miracle play could happen. And that's going to be the first sub-map, the side of Shenzhen Strikers, despite the very strong start from tank players only.
Hello, 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 Mega! It has been a while.
Hello. Hello, Mott. It's lovely to see you in here. Welcome on in.
Hello,
to the
I'm happy to
stream.
be here. I did see a little bit of round 1 with the Shenzhen Strikers flipping the point back, getting the beautiful little fight win there, and now we're going over to round 2. We're going to Village of Nepal. What can you tell me from what you've gleamed over the team so far?
Looking at both of these teams, I think they really play well together on these Malga compositions. But I mean, both of these teams have really strong plays. I do like the Vendetta pick from tank players only in specifics. I think it's a lot stronger than people give it credit for, even though they don't have that Zarya with those bubbles. But we'll just have to kind of see how this engagement plays out, as it looks like tank players only going to be taking that point position first.
Ooh, they sure are. Takion's looking straight towards this Juno from Ananas, and thankfully able to kind of get out sliver of their teeth, though, as he is super low. In the meantime, Takion taken down early by Alpin on that Vendetta, as you're talking about earlier. That combination, funnily enough, not with the Zarya this time, only with the Malga, still relatively strong. The damage output definitely something that, you know, the tank players only, the GM TPO, need to really be aware of. With that being said, bang, give me another low kill from Alpin onto the Shenzhen Strikers, and just like that, just like in round 1, they're going to be able to take over this first point for a little bit of time, but it's not going to be very long before, as we know, the Strikers are going to be able to come back with a lot of firepower.
Yeah, I think something that definitely helped them last round was that Genji swap off of the Tracer. Definitely something to be considering right now, and it looks like it's going to be coming through immediately. It's going to reset the ult charge, but it's not too big of a deal. As the rest of the Strikers going to be taking this high ground, but it's kind of difficult to play into the Symmetra with the turret set up on the objective. I mean, it's really difficult to figure out how you're going to take this objective.
No, it sure is. You know, you can see the running in from Yo-Yo Cheerio all the way through the point. The other, of course, Oldnor staying stable on the objective, having the boost of the Hyper Ring behind him the entire time. But that being said, though, very neutral fight here. Neither team are really wanting to walk into this absolute trap of the turrets all over the objective. Now comes the TP, forcing the Step off of the Kiriko. Now here comes the follow-up on both the Soj and that back line. One goes down, the secondary one going down as well. Smixon and Alpin working hand in hand in tandem with one another to take out two of the most important people from the side of these Strikers. On top of that, an aggressive barrier from Lingon is going to be the final blow of this fight.
I don't like that beat at all, actually. I mean, I think Shenzhen Strikers had already, you know, chalked up that fight to a loss, and then they see Lingon decide to pop the beat. I am more than okay with that. I guess the only benefit from the side of tank players only is the fact that Fijigon is only 60% to beat, so it's not even that much of a lead as we see Cheerio going in with a big stomp, but I don't think it's going to matter all too much.
Oh, it's not. Just a bunch of colors on the screen just in front of my face. Thundering Blade also committed right through the barrier. And all it does is just make sure these guys are not able to walk onto the point confidently to reinstate more overtime action. Look at this overclock onto Nana's and Lingon just to make sure that there is salt rubbing into the wound here, making us go over to a round 3 of Nepal.
I'm just, honestly, I'm happy you're here, because I don't know if I could have kept my voice for all 3 of these maps if I had to do the whole thing solo. But no, I do think it's definitely interesting, to say the least, that round was a lot less close than the previous one. Strikers were able to get a foothold on that first round and, you know, kind of do a little bit of a comeback here. But I mean, that one was just a 100-0. Definitely not something that you want to see if you are the side of Shenzhen Strikers. But now we are here, submap number 3. I mean, look at the statistics. I mean, look at JT4 trying his absolute best. And, I mean, listen, the Malgas are going to have the most damage, obviously. It is Malga. But something has to be done about the Symmetra and this Vendetta. That's definitely a problem that has to be addressed at some point. Otherwise, I think tank players only are going to run away with this.
Well, we're going to see Takion already going over to Genji here once again. And you and I both know, you know, Smixon, if we're going to commit to the Symmetra, which of course he's going to, we're going to have some troubles going into that Symmetra as the bladed hero of Takion. And with that being said, look, his teleport over to the high ground, forcing the Strikers to back out towards that low ground, back over to the objective. And the slam comes in from Oldnor. Now here comes a Cardiac Overdrive, giving that overhealth, giving that lifesteal ability over to the Malga, and putting all this pressure onto poor old Yo-Yo. And look at this, the boop off the objective. We actually does not count as environmental for Lingon, as unfortunate as that is. But at the end of the day, you get the kill on the Malga, you get the kill on the tank, and you're continuing onwards by getting some late staggers onto Takion, for example.
Yeah, a really good stagger pick onto Tachyon is actually going to have them reset for quite a minute. We have to make sure that Lucio's also doesn't go down here, as that would have been a bad pick, however. But they are going to be able to stay alive right now. And now we look at this positioning that's available. Cheerio has the option to just run right on this left side, which is a little dangerous, as you do leave players on the high ground, but they don't really have a hit scan to worry about. So Shenzhen Strikers are going to be able to re-engage pretty aggressively here.
They should be able to. You can see how much pressure Olnor is being taken here. On fire, having to retreat a little bit. Now goes in for the overrun onto the opposing Malga. Suzu has been expended early from our backline of Lucio's. And we also, speaking of Lucio, literally, the character themselves feed. And, of course, with Cheerio going down, gonna be in that spawn room, getting that wave respawn together. And in the midst of the fight, Smixon is just running rampant at high charge.
Yeah. I did. Sorry, I just thought it was funny, the emote on point. No, Olnor is doing a lot on this Malga, getting really good stomps. I think Cheerio is going too early with these stomps, and it's allowing him to get countered incredibly easily with a counter stomp of their own. And something you have to worry about is this, you know, these teleports. And I'm not really sure how Shenzhen Strikers is going to do it. The Ray is going to be able to be popped here first from Ananas, and I mean, I don't know what Shenzhen Strikers is supposed to be doing here. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, they do use a cage fight here, and one thing I do want to say, a triple kill coming from Tachyon, by the way, able to garner up even more percentage towards the now online Dragon Blade. One thing I do want to say and note is that Nanas did use the Orbital Ray, but didn't use the torpedoes after. So you didn't really get that extra healing and extra damage from the damage boost of the Orbital Ray inside with the torpedo blast. So I think that's one little thing that could be adjusted, but otherwise, next fight coming toward us.
Yeah, tank players only have 4 ults on the table. The Blade's going to come out early here. Oh, Lincoln Ajax! Lincoln Ajax! Lincoln Ajax!
It's unfortunate. It has to happen at least once. You know, Mega, it has to happen at least one time to have an Ajax on the CGL stream here. And what better way for a Blade to shut it down?
Yeah, beautiful kill there. Oh, dog. Oh, we don't have to put up the graphic. Oh, days.
Oh, yes, we do. That's the button.
We do. There's a button for that. Tachyon, beautiful job with that Ajax. Now Fiji Gun going to be ahead on beat, and now tank players only have their DPS ults, which aren't going to have as much impact as something like that Cage, like that Ray, but we'll have to see how this wall gets used.
Love the wall here, but forces the overclock from GT4, and mind you, not GT, JT4. Mind you, JT4, very, very prominent player in the CGL space, and this overclock could get even more value. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Well, 4 down for the tank players. We do lose feed in the meantime, you know, very much giving to that namesake, and Nana's once again also going one to go down after. So Alpin and Nana's going to be on that wave respawn, so it forces the tank players to wait a little bit longer time for everyone to regroup.
Yeah, but now here's the problem, is that all these ults are reset now. The only thing that Strikers have going for them is close to a Cage, while Ananas can maybe build up this Ray in time. You know, Ray is one of the harder ults to build, but I mean, this is going to be a pure neutral fight unless Cheerio is able to build that Cage fast enough.
Janet has no cooldowns, by the way, after this. We are trying to heal our Symmetro. Symmetro's off the map, though. Great environmental coming in from the side of Fijagon. Of course, it's going to be a complete team kill in the favor of the Shenzhen Strikers. And with that team kill, we're waiting for a boop opportunity, but I don't even think they have an opportunity to come back here. Speed goes for a teleport. There's absolutely no way on earth they're going to make it there. Going to be a big win for the Strikers as we do find ourselves solidifying that first point in our favor in the match.
Yeah, honestly, from the start, from how it looked, I didn't really think that Shenzhen Strikers had it in them, but I guess they just came together. They did start on that Winston comp, but had to quickly swap to that Malga once they saw what tank players only was running. But beautiful plays from the Strikers there. I think Tachyon and JT4 went absolutely crazy there. The Ajax definitely did not, you know, help anything from the side of tank players only. Lingen, unfortunately, you did get put on a poster. But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, this is just map number 1. This is kind of testing waters, right? You find out what the other team plays, you figure out what their strong suit is, and you can now, like, you know, target bans off of that. All right, they like playing that Malga, they like playing that Vendetta. Those are options that Shenzhen Striker has available to them in terms of bans. Tank players only, they look at the Sojourn, they look at the Genji potentially. You know, there's options on the table there in terms of what they want to play, where they want to take this team to. There, you know, now you have to think strategically. You can't just rely on your mechanics. You have to. It gets harder to watch every time. But no, but there's definitely options that you can have, and there's definitely places that you can take them.
No, for sure. And the nice thing about CGL is just the fact that it's so open with the map selection. Once you're done with control, once you're done with the stationary, like week by week control map of the week, you can go into hybrid, control, or not control, sorry, flashpoint, push, escort, all of the above, and then you can also choose inside of that specific mode's map pool itself. And these teams are going super fast, by the way, Mega, and I can always appreciate that, because guess what? We're going to game 2. It's gonna be a flashpoint, one of 3 options, you know, very, very, very expansive map pool, I know. And of course, we're gonna go over to New Junk City as our map 2 selection. Great choice, honestly, from the team of tank players.
Tank players only, you know, I'm a little... I like that map pick. I think it does enable the comp a little bit more. I think if they are wanting to do that Malga ban, then, you know, there's definitely something, or sorry, not the Malga ban, the Malga comp, excuse me. If they want to run that Malga comp yet again, I think New Junk City definitely allows that, maybe a little bit better than Nepal, which, you know, Nepal has a lot of different high grounds that are available to them compared to New Junk City. So there's definitely options that are on the table now in terms of what they want to run. But now you have to think about bans. You have to think about what strikers are thinking in terms of bans. You know, I think that it is Shenzhen Strikers get first ban if I'm correct. But I'm a little interested to see if they do decide to ban out like that Vendetta, maybe the Malga, force like a little bit less of a brawly comp. You could force out maybe a Kiriko ban. Maybe the tank players only decide... maybe you decide to ban out, you know, the Sojourn, the Genji. There's definitely options on the table for these teams. You just have to think about which one was causing the most issues.
That's the idea, right? Whatever was causing you issues, especially in that Malga mirror, I don't think that neither team did that bad on the Malga, especially because it went to round 3 and they were playing Malga the entire time, you know? So maybe a Malga ban isn't going to be something you see, especially on New Junk City, but we can accommodate that with some sort of DPS ban. Of course, updated graphic for the bans. As you can see, all new 5 heroes have been introduced, but they're grayed out because they are not allowed to be chosen at all until, I believe, 2 weeks after their release. So, unfortunately, as much as we all want to play Domina and Anran and Emre and all that jazz, none of that is allowed for our 2 beautiful teams here. And you're right. Tank players only will have the benefit of choosing that first ban in their favor. Already banning out Doomfist in that first round, as we had seen. So the field is open, right? If they were having problems with that Kiriko, I think that's also always a safe ban, a backline ban, forcing 2 completely different compositions to be played. Bap Lucio, Wu Yong, or something like that. And you were completely right. Kiriko taken out of the equation from tank players only. Great choice, and a really safe one at that.
Yeah, I mean, the Kiriko, you know, it definitely does allow new backlines to be made. Their Kiriko and the Lucio backline is a tale as old as time in recent scenes. It's something that's honestly been kind of constant. I don't think there's ever been a situation where Kiri Lucio is not played if both of those characters are available. And the second ban from the Strikers is going to be targeted at that Vendetta. But I do want to say, I am excited to see some Domina next week, which is when they are going to be playable. They are playable next week. So if you want to see the new characters, hopefully maybe a team will start picking up a gimmick character like that Jetpack Cat. I can't wait for that character to be into the scene and get into some shenanigans. But I mean, for this week, unfortunately, not an option. But next week, we will be seeing them, hopefully, if they are meta. I'm not entirely sure if they're meta yet. I'm still trying to figure out that playing field right there. But I'm excited for this matchup now with the Kiriko and the Vendetta gone.
No, I'm ready. I am ready for these guys to be introduced next week. My bad for misspeaking. And next week they're coming out. And right now, like, again, today was a hot fix. It happened around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock Eastern, and it involved all 5 heroes. Small things to Domina. I believe her shield got less HP now, so instead of 250 is 225. Things to big changes to Anran, making her a little bit more viable as a DPS. Some, I believe, also buffs to Emre. There's also some adjustments to Jetpack Cat. I believe she no longer gets, or something about like her regeneration is lowered a tiny bit when she is in her flight mode. And then last but not least, Mizuki got a bunch of big buffs to not only his healing output, but also his ultimate, which I was saying he needs a little bit more for that ultimate, because 50 healing over time, yeah, that's absolutely about a diabolical. It's not going to be enough here. So with that in mind, also again, Vendetta having a little bit of a small nerf in that hot fix from today. Not going to see her at all, though. As you mentioned, she's going to be banned out alongside the Kiriko. So we're going to see the Malga mirror once more from both teams here entering the arena. Flashpoint, of course, unlocking in 20 and under seconds. So I think it takes a lot of time for these guys to play in this mid-range, play in this field, figure out where we want to position. We have the Ana and Lucio, a very rare backline to see on Flashpoint in general. But with the way that the Shenzhen Strikers have been playing, I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way for this backline to work out. But the Vendetta goes in for the target of choice. There goes JT4, traded for Smixon in the middle of the engagement, looking for the Genji, but thankfully Tachyon able to back out to the high ground and get regenerated.
Yeah, this Ana is going to be such a bad position now, going to be forced out from Ulnar on that Malga. And look, tank players only didn't even flinch. I think this first objective is going to go the way of... Oh, actually, I was thinking it might go the way of Shenzhen Strikers, but with those kills coming through here, it's going to be maybe tank players only. Yeah, they're going to be securing this first fight win in this first map unlock. But I wanted to say that tank players only didn't really flinch at all with the Vendetta ban. They just decided, all right, we're just going to put Alpin on Venture and do the exact same comp we just ran with. And Shenzhen Strikers had to kind of change up a little bit more. They're going to be running that Ana, which is definitely an uncommon choice. And especially against a comp that tank players only is running, it's kind of get run over a lot.
It absolutely is, and that's why I'm a little bit scared about, you know, the Ana in a lot of the situation, because you can see how quickly Alpin, although they get slept and naded. 3 big nade. Wait, hold on. I might have spoken a little too soon. 1 kill. Ling is super low. There's the kill onto Ling as well. Ulnor barely able to stabilize at 1 HP. Yeah, Alpin is able to, you know, come back, and you have the shields that regenerate whenever you get a ability, so you get the kill onto the opposing Sojourn. But then right there is Lucio's shutting me up completely, saying, actually, I'm fine against Vendetta. Watch your mouth.
Yeah, no, actually, it was... Okay, yeah, I said, like, this Ana is very diveable. Unfortunately, they just hit a 3-man nade, which allowed Tachyon to just absolutely, like, dismantle the tank players' only roster. And then even the Ana got involved getting that kill onto the Venture. And, you know, Yo, you see this Ana? You see this Ana? Bang! Look at that nade.
The little sneaky, they're gonna walk him and get a big nade off, and they did get a big nade, and then JT4, unfortunately, even though, you know, you got a really good opener here, especially the kill onto both the Lucios. It depends on how we're going to follow up on that. Again, a double kill, but there's no supports in the favor of the Strikers. Ulnor, though, is so low, so tiny, and still able to get at just 1 HP. It's so back and forth. Mind you, point is still in the favor of the Strikers. Over 80% already given to them, and they're okay with kind of just stalling out the fight a little bit, letting Feed die out here. They're able to get 91%. Not bad. They're going to force overtime for sure in this next fight.
This next engagement is going to be so crucial. So many ults on the table, 4 from the side of Strikers, almost 5 for the side of tank players only. And if they decide to over-ult by chance, then, I mean, this could look at a snowball for the entire map.
I mean, momentum is built up in the arena, and your confidence only gets better and better as Flashpoint goes on. Strikers coming in with 4 ults, by the way, 2% away from the overclock, or oh my god, over array comes in from Bananas on the sound barrier, also from Feed. Blade comes in though, slicing and dicing onto poor old Alpin, traded off for Yo-Yo Cheerio and JT4. So just by numbers here, Mega, you're gonna see TPO take not only the objective but also have the numbers to do so. Great target priority. Whoa, where'd you come from? Okay.
Okay, they managed to get the Ana before something bad happens. But now here's the problem. Here's the problem. Shenzhen Strikers popped everything. They have nothing in the tank. The Great Depression of the 20s has hit the Shenzhen Strikers economy, right? Now tank players only, they are also broke, but it's not as bad. They still have a beat in the back pocket, so it pretty much guarantees that this next fight is going to go the way of tank players only, as long as Lingen doesn't Ajax again, which I'm holding my chair, I'm holding my breath that doesn't happen, but that is definitely something to be considering.
I mean, they should be fine because there's no Blade, but it wasn't an Ajax. It wasn't Ajax. If we just killed the Lucio, that's okay. It still has Blade beat for this next engagement. Doesn't really need to use it for a long time because, as you mentioned, Strikers have like no ultimates to work with. Just raw fundamentals, raw kills were the thing. Is gonna be the thing that gives the point back over to the Strikers here, especially from Tachyon, just getting a beautiful dive onto poor old Ling.
Yeah, I really like that play from Shenzhen Strikers, realizing the threat is just that Lucio with that beat, and so deciding we're going to enter our brains out in order to secure that kill. And I also like the Shenzhen Strikers backline swap ups. They're going to go Brig Juno instead of running that Lucio Ana, which is so uncommon and so difficult to work with. So now we have to worry about this next engagement, as Lingen still has the only ult on the table here and still has that beat available. You can't just hold this beat forever. That is a problem. If you hold this beat forever, then Shenzhen Strikers might just guarantee this point, and then we might see a snowball the other direction.
Well, there it is. It's like he was reading your mind. We have to go for the beat now or never, and that big influx of overhealth helps to just stay in the site in that fight against Cheerio, take care of the Malga, go towards the back line. And as you mentioned, that Juno Brick, not really seen as much anymore. They used to be super popular back in the midst of Diva meta and Mauga meta. They're back when. This time, they're still relatively strong, but when you get overrun like that, it's way more difficult to stabilize with your back line.
Yeah, now we look at these ult charts. We look at the ult economy, and we're now getting out of the Great Depression, right? 5 ults are going to be building up from the side of the Strikers, 4 ults on the side of GM TPO. I don't know which ults I like more. I believe I like the ults from the side of tank players only more. What's really going to determine the pace of this fight is the Ray and also the wall. If the wall gets put in a really good position, okay, the wall's going to be used in a pretty interesting angle, and it's gonna, both these. I don't know if I like some of these ults here. I'm going to be honest with you, from the side of tank players only.
Well, they're going to be using, I think, 4, and from both sides have been expended. 4 from the Strikers, I think, basically 3 actually from tank players only. It's a complete mess of colors and abilities and cooldowns being expended, but it worked out for Strikers, who did hold on to, at the very least, an overclock from JT4. Very messy fight, though, and they're going to actually continue to walk up, trying to disrupt the rotation with the backline. Thankfully, they're so speedy that they kind of wrap around away from Tachyon and not go down early, but overtime has been enacted here. The wick is going down. Tachyon, in the meantime, on the backline, as I mentioned, not letting up on that Lucio. Lingon Silt no longer in the engagement. Now the dive comes in onto the soldier, who slides away twice, and while we're focusing and honing in on the soldier and anything else, we're still getting kills in the favor of this Genji from the Strikers. Alpine drops down with the Tectonic Shock, but it's all for naught. You're the only one there who can stabilize and who can stall the objective with the berry, but it's not going to be enough, and we're going to stagger out poor old Ananas at the same exact time. 1-to-1 scoreboard here on Flashpoint. We move over to the refinery.
These ults are so late from the side of TPO. I mean, Alpin is working on JT for the entire engagement, and only when they lose 3 of their teammates, they decide, all right, now's the time to pop Ventral. Like, you're not going to win a fight like that. You don't have to make a hero play. You can open up with that ult. You can decide, hey, I could use this in a 5v5 situation just to make space. You don't have to get kills all the time. Oh, Lingen.
Oh, Lingen still, again, taken down early. 1 charge, and then it's just how well synergized the Strikers are. Chiru goes in, strikes down with a charge, and then you see Tachyon going in with a dive with the regular dash, right? But Alpine, with that insane survivability of the Venture, stabilizes, stays alive, takes care of the Genji in the meantime. Rushing about to get the point here. Rally gets committed by Feed, by the way. Not sure my favorite, because Alpine comes in from the back, gets a very, very, very vulnerable Brigida out of the way, and suddenly the Strikers expending an ultimate for a lost fight, there.
Yeah, I just like pulled the collar of my shirt with that one. I don't know if I like that Brig ult at all. You think, all right, this cap is not come through yet. I still have 3 players alive. I can maybe turn this with a rally. But the thing is, with Mauga, the rally just kind of doesn't matter if you get a stomp on them, because then they're just, they're just another target on the floor for you to blow up. So now Shenzhen Striker is going to be down 2 ults now, and now this is favoring tank players only, who already have control of this objective. This is going to be really difficult for Shenzhen Strikers to re-engage with.
Oh, the cage fight comes. They're actually going to commit the orbital ray inside the cage fight. Thankfully, the healing should be able to keep him alive a little bit longer here. And look at that. That's what I want from my backline. Just turning, looking at Alpine, shutting down what could have been a more devastating team fight with the Tectonic Shock in the back pocket, having been expended in the midst of the engagement. Now cleaning up the rest of the team. And was that really an Ajax? Oh,
was that an Ajax?
No, not again.
Was that an Ajax?
I missed it!
Lingen! Lingen!
Oh, I love my producers. I love you. Look at it. Look at it.
Thank you, producers.
And you're dead.
Oh my days! Oh my days! That can't be happening, Lingen. Now tank players only, despite having that ult advantage and the point, lose out. And now you don't have anything. There's the play from Tachyon. You pop this Ray for naught. It's for naught.
the Ray gets popped here. The forces of evil are jumping TPO here from the Strikers. Still a little bit of trade-offs. You lose Zeus, you lose Cheerio in the meantime, and Smixon has gone back to the tried and true Symmetra. Can Symmetra solo team with her aura? Oh my god, Smixon does it! Oh, that was me! Feed comes back with a vengeance, but I don't think one measly rally versus 3 people. Who will win, Mega Ninja? I fear it may not be the rally, but we stay alive long enough for Cheerio to come back in the fight here, but we're staggering in at this point, one at a time, hoping, waiting for reinforcements to arrive.
We did the same thing again. We rallied in a 1v3. We need to stop doing that. Now Cheerio taking so much damage. There's ults available for them, but Cheerio is in a world of... What? Bananas gets traded? Hello? What?
Wait. We're back? We're back?
What just happened? Cheerios ran in. Cheerios just ran in, and somehow the rest of Tank players only evaporated. They actually just like fell to the water cycle. What happened to them?
Listen, we're just gonna chalk it up to holy aura from Cheerio. By the way, just to not die. Literally ran around the corner, became full HP, killed Ananas. No trouble, no slag, nothing left like that. I think next we're gonna go over to the bomb flats here. So already seeing the tank players only stabilizing on their first. They have cage fight. They could go up to another sound barrier. Hopefully it comes out. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching Lingen here. 91% has an ult that could change the duration of this fight. Shenzhen Strikers have almost 3 ults of their own. Lucio's going to be a little bit behind on that Ray, but Cheerios with a nice slam, getting the kill onto Alpin. There's the overclock. Smixon going to be taken down. And now Lingen has this ult, but I don't think you commit it, as you are down a couple of players right now. Yeah, okay, going to lose this fight out. Only overclock pulp from the side of Shenzhen Strikers, and they're going to guarantee this first point cap. And this is match point. This is the last flash point that Shenzhen Strikers needs to make it a 2-0. And Tank players only have 3 ults in the back pockets, and so do Shenzhen Strikers. But again, Lingen on this Lucio makes me grip my table a little bit harder because I'm really afraid of him Ajaxing yet again.
We gotta believe in Lingon Soul. Okay, we gotta believe. I believe in you. And we're spice hitting him. Oh my god, we're spice hitting. They know. My observer knows.
No,
but I think we can do it.
No.
We're gonna teleport in, basically skip the neutral for a second here, reposition on the left side of the objective here. Now here comes the slam. Here comes our fade away from Linden. Great way to kite away from what could have been a more devastating loss. And thankfully the sound barrier comes through, only hitting themselves and Ananas, I will say, but it works out because Alpin completely shreds the entire playing field with the Tectonic Shock in the meantime. And guess what? Even better, we have an Orbital Ray advantage going in.
Okay, I'm really glad that we have an Orbital Ray advantage. However, we just popped 3 ults for 2. And they're closing in on having 3 ults of their own. This is a 3v1 ult fight in which Shenzhen Strikers are heavily favored. This has to be the greatest Ray of all time in order to secure this fight win for tank players only. Otherwise, I mean, I don't really know how they're going to do it. And Cheerio taking some damage. There's the Ray, the cage, and there goes Cheerio. This is actually a really good Ray. I don't know why JT4 decided to commit the overclock here, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, try to go for overclock, try to get a saving grace here for a little bit of an advantage for Shenzhen Strikers, but yeah, they're kind of just overcommitting that a little bit too much in the fight, especially against Ulnor's, especially inside of Yo-Yo Cheerio's cage fight. The Orbital Ray from Ananas was a little bit too strong to deal with. Now we're at 85%, just 15% away from evening us up, oh my gosh, to 2-2 in New Junk City. Wall versus wall, rally versus the photon barrier. V just goes straight in for the jugular against Smixon. You're down 1, you don't have the turrets either, station on the objective, so it comes down to Feed just continuously finding low targets, finishing them off, and then stabilizing on the objective pretty much by himself. Tank players need to back out and retreat. They have to just lick their wounds and try to get something else on the board here, because even though you see a stall coming in from Alpine, it's not really gonna work too much. They have to back out immediately.
Oh, Alpine barely gets out. Does he get out? Actually, I'm hoping that he does. No, he actually did. Actually, one of the greatest staggers of all time. But now, actually, the bodies of tank players are only going to be able to get on the objective. However, Tachyon is able to find the kills onto Ananas. So now this is a problem. This beat, you need to build it fast, and you're not able to. So this is looking like it's all but over, actually.
is all but over. The cage fight is there as well, and that's really the end of the line for tank players only, as the Shenzhen Strike come back with a vengeance. Great work really from everyone. I think the swap off of the Ana and the Lucio was probably one of the best changes they had made, and very quickly as well. Not too late of a swap, not too early of a swap, just well timed enough to bring it back from all the way from Refinery up into the bomb flats.
Yeah, really good plays here overall from the side of Shenzhen Strikers, realizing what they had to do to adapt. Oh, are we going to show the Ajax again? Please don't show us the Ajax again. My heart can't handle it. Lincoln, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. Unfortunately, you know, here's the thing though. It's not just Lincoln's fault, right? Of course the Ajaxes are a little egregious, right? Of course they're not the greatest thing in the world, but it's not just his fault. I mean, he did pop, like, I mean, that one's a really good B right there, and it does secure the fight win for Shenzhen Strikers. But right now they're just not playing, you know, with the economy is something that not a lot of people consider when it comes to a game like Overwatch, right? The more casual viewers don't really understand how important the ult economy it is. But I mean, if you pop 5 of your ults to secure a fight win, then that's bad. That's actually a bad outcome. Even though you win the fight, congratulations. But the next, like, 2 fights are going to go the way of the other team if they do play correctly. And so now you have to think about, as a team, how do you want to use your ultimates? You know, I think that you can definitely, you know, exploit things on the side of Shenzhen Strikers. I know they're not playing perfectly either. I did see a couple of rallies that were interesting. But I mean, listen, there's options